Do you support the idea of federal tax reform? And if so, what should it look like?
I definitely support the idea of federal tax reform. As we know that the tax system we have currently, definitely nobody can understand it, not without being a tax expert. I believe that we continue to try to tax businesses, the middle class business, way too much, while we give the breaks out to the big large corporations. They have the fundamental ability with the tax structure that we have today to be able to exempt certain things and get by without having to pay very little taxes back to the federal government, while the middle class guy is harmed and destroyed by it. I've looked at the fair tax and the flat tax. To me, the flat tax looks like a better opportunity, but there's things that need to be corrected within it if we try to go that direction. So I think we need to look at our tax structure, figure out how we can make it a better, more fair tax structure, dealing with the business tax, the payroll tax, and others. So I think it's something that definitely needs to be restructured. I know there is a bill that's being presented in Congress right now. I haven't seen the language on that, so I can't tell you whether I can support that or not, but I am glad that somebody's moving forward with that. Our own state structure needs to be looked at, because it's a convoluted mess, in my opinion. We have little pots of money going every direction, with everybody got their hands into it. I like the idea of a tax where we know this portion of this tax is going for this portion of development, structures, or whether it's going for highways, infrastructure, or others. So that's the way I like to see a tax work, is where we know exactly where it's going and it has accountability for it.
Okay, so just to clarify, you like the idea of a flat tax?
Well, I'm looking at, that's one that I don't necessarily like a flat tax, but that's one of the more appeasing ones that I like, of trying to see the structure of them. I can't tell you that that's the one I would support. Right now, you would probably say, let's reform the tax structure we have and look at what we can do there. Because there's a lot of nuts and bolts to this tax structure, and it's still one way above my head, I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you.
We need a simpler tax code, a flatter tax code. There's no question about it. Frankly, there are a lot of politicians, elected officials, that give lip service to those ideas. And to a great degree, I agree with Crescent on that. But you know, they say that past behavior is a sneak preview of the future. And the logical question that I have to ask, I know, Crescent, that you signed the tax pledge federally not to raise taxes. I'm going to sign it on Friday with Chuck Muth at a ceremony at First Fridays. I invite you all to come. But the logical question I have to ask is, I did a little dig. I said, oh, well, you know, when I found out that you signed the tax pledge federally as a candidate for Congress, I said, well, Chuck, you know, he must have signed the tax pledge as a state legislator too, right? And Chuck said, no, he refused to sign the tax pledge as a state legislator. And then when I look at his voting record, and I looked at, he voted for a marriage tax, what effectively would have been a marriage tax, SB 419, a tax on sales in Clark County, AB 496, and of course the increased fuel tax, AB 413. You all can fact check me. But I can see why you didn't sign the tax pledge as a legislator, because you voted for tax increases. Look, folks, we can all say what we're going to say tonight, have good talking points, but past behavior is a sneak preview of future behavior.
Okay, Mr. Hart, before I let you respond, Mr. Hurt actually didn't answer the question. If you supported federal tax reform, what does it look like?
Federal tax reform, I thought it did. I said that I want a flatter system, a more simple system, frankly, a system that cuts taxes across the board. Look, I believe that we have too many loopholes. We have too many special interest loopholes that are often put in by special interests. I think we need to take out those loopholes. Let's flatten the tax code, make it much simpler, because I quite frankly think that taxes, you know, Obama gets on this war of income inequality nonsense. Of course, income inequality has gotten worse under his administration than it was before. And that's because, one, you have a regime that has too much taxation and too much regulation. The rich can find a way to avoid
Okay.
those problems, not middle-class folk that want to be rich.
So you prefer eliminating deductions and lowering the rate? is what you're
Yes,
saying?
yes
Okay.
it is.
Okay. Mr. Hardy?
Thank you. Rebuttal to that is I wish Mr. Ennis would kind of understand that, there's things that go on in legislature, and he's talking about me voting for taxes. I did not vote for a tax in there on this, the more cops or the indexing. What I voted for was the opportunity for the citizens of Clark County to decide that. Every community within this district sent letters of resolution asking to support these two items, the communities themselves. Now, that's a constitutional issue in my mind. Those are things that I'm supposed to do, listen to the people and let them decide what they wanted to do. The more cops was voted down by the county, and the indexing was voted up for more infrastructure and creating jobs and getting this economic ability back going again. So to say that I voted for it, I voted for the ability for the county itself to represent itself, because I don't believe the state is there to pick and choose just one county on a tax. Our job is to make sure that it's equal across the state when we decide on a tax. When individuals want it, we want to give them individually their opportunity to decide what they want to do. Thank you.